Hello everyone, welcome to the court. I'm Miss Jester. Sorry I'm a little bit late today. When I came home from lunch, I came back to see that my room was full of bees. It's fine. I swear, it's fine. Now. It wasn't before, but it is now. Well, for me, not the bees. The bees are kind of not doing great, but they should have stayed out of my room. Load game file. It is far too easy to get them to pay attention, enraptured. They hang on to my every word and follow my every move. All of it would have been stifling had I not grown used to such stares. Most are respectful, some are hostile, if we are honest, and a few are downright inappropriate. After all, I am...
Kinda right.
Is that the priest again? Oh, I think they're reusing the character model. Because there's a moment of agitation. Oh, the dog's barking. That's rude. She'll stop in a minute. She'll stop. I swear she'll stop in a minute. It's just a jogger! People are allowed to jog past our house. You need to learn to live with that. She's not gonna learn to live with it. She's not gonna learn to live with it at all. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. There's a moment of agitation as a familiar but less than welcome face approaches me with a suggestive wink, with a suggestive smirk on his face. Of course, I have to keep a benevolent smile and greet him as I greet any good friend. After all, this man can turn heads, being famous in his own right.
Officer Lee! What a pleasant surprise. I didn't think you'd have the time to attend tonight's party.
He's more Luke's friend than mine, really, and I am quite sure I only invited his wife. Oh, so you and his wife probably get along by being married to douchebags that you can do better than. That's what you have in common. Much like I am only friends with the chief inspector because of Luke, Luke is only friends with Rochelle because of me. Unlike how I treated Lee, however, Luke never really hid his animosity for the Lee matriarch. It was an odd sort of friendship where we would have awkward double dates. Okay, so you would go on double dates with this couple, even though one of the people there you could not stand. Why are you friends? Why? I don't even recall his first name. It started with an N, I think. I might be wrong. Oh my god, you don't even know his first name? Aside from being the chief inspector of Luxborn Police, his wife, Rochelle Lee Nevance, owns a General Electronics company, fridges and freezers, mostly.
Oh, I always have time for my favorite socialite couple. Might I say, you look positively ravishing tonight.
This guy definitely wants to cheat on his wife. Like, absolutely wants to cheat on his wife.
I see the husband isn't with ya.
And I see your wife isn't with you, and that's not going to lead to where you're hoping it will lead. The way he eyes me up is enough to make my skin crawl. I just wish Luke was here to fend off the more unseemly of our peers. Why are they here? Why are you hanging out with these people? Choose better friends. Also, choose a better husband while you're at it. Luke sucks. You know the ones. Men who are just a bit too friendly, staring too long at my assets and getting close just because my husband is not there. And to think they had the gall to do this at my own party. Respect the host. Jesus. In my own house, if I might add. But like any high society woman worth her salt, I know how to handle it with grace and dignity.
I suppose you are looking pleasant as well. Luke's busy with work, unfortunately.
Hannah deserves better than this. Hannah deserves better than all of this.
Rochelle isn't here?
A shame. I do hope he isn't causing you much trouble. That husband of yours can be a bit daft sometimes, acting like he's still some young bachelor.
Says the man looking to cheat on his wife with his friend's wife, who his wife is also friends with. Make it make sense.
The wife sends her regards and her apologies, but something came up with her doctor and she needed to attend to it. You know her, being pregnant and all.
This is how he treats his pregnant wife? She is spending 9 months, 9 grueling months, making a baby for you to raise together. And you're eyeing up her friend? Kill him now. Kill him now. Just do it. Off with his head. We make small talk. Rather, I'm forced to do so, as he would not leave my side after finding his place there. Much to my chagrin, I've been extricated from the few who flock in hopes of flattering, for I can tolerate them far better than Lee. He's a nice enough person, and he's not a nice person. He is not a nice person at all. Like, he is eyeing up other women while his pregnant wife is at the doctor's on her own, by herself. If she is going to the doctor in regards to her pregnancy, he should be there with her. Scum. Scummy man. Trash. And I adore his wife, who is obviously the brains behind the two. But there is something unsettling about him. Yeah, he's a slime ball. I do not trust him as much as I want to. Don't trust him! Do not trust this man! A guy looking to cheat on his pregnant wife is a guy you can't trust for anything. He regales to me tales of the Luxbourne Police Department, a different affair to the usual gossip I am privy to, and though I am loath to admit, it is interesting nonetheless. I expect the topic of business to die out quickly, which would be understandable enough due to the confidential nature of his work. Oh, get a couple of drinks in this guy, and he'll be offering to unlock the doors and show you around the cold case department. I'm telling you, just get him drunk. He'll talk. But oh boy, was I wrong.
So, we're in civvies, I steal and drive off with one of the police mobiles, right? In the mirror, I see the new tent chasing on foot and screaming about theft.
Why would you do that? Why would anyone do that? How old are you?
The look on his face was priceless when I parked in the garage.
This man is unwell.
Oh my. You made him chase you all the way home for a prank. What did Rochelle have to say about that?
Rochelle has a strange love and hate affair with Lee. Okay, when it's your husband, it should be all love. The fact that she hates him sometimes is concerning, especially since they're having a child together. He is a married man who did not grow up past his early 20s, judging by the way he acts. Yeah, noticed that. Surprisingly enough, they've been married for a good 20 years. A lifetime if you compare it to my marriage of 7 years with Luke. Oh my god, you've been with Luke for 7 years? Oh, I was really hoping for her that this was like year 1 of their marriage and that she still had time. Like, she can still get out. It's just like, oh god, you've spent 7 years with that guy? Oh no. I, on the other hand, well, Lucas no Lee. I should be happy about that, I suppose. Oh my god, she even knows she's settling. Hannah, you can do better. It's not too late to get a divorce. Although my darling did have his moments, he said a slur. He called another human being, he called another person a slur. He's a bad person. He's a bad man.
The wife pulled my ear and gave me a good talking to, though. Besides, we live in a flat a block away, so it wasn't much of a grand chase.
Weren't you living in a house near the countryside?
Moved for work, you know. Or you probably don't.
Oh my god. The backhandedness of it all. Wow.
No, I don't. But a flat in downtown. I suppose if that's what you like.
Oh, it's horrid. Hate that tiny place, no matter how convenient it can be for work. 55 square yards are not enough when you need to get away from the wife.
They need a divorce.
I wouldn't mind a place away from the city. Even started looking at the ads.
Is your wife and baby going to be moving there with you, or...?
I spied an interesting lot, actually. Heard it was finally put up for sale, or that something mansion. You know the one with all the ghost stories.
Oh, this chapter's starting earlier in the timeline, back before they went to the house. I know what he is talking about. There are really only a few urban legends around here. It's
The Ermagood Mansion?
haunted.
That's the one. Worthy of a king it is. I'd buy it myself, but Rochelle would only gripe if I brought it up to her.
Why do you want to live in a haunted house?
Not to mention all the expenses a place like that will be a real fixer-upper.
Why do you want to bring a baby into a haunted house?
You also have to find someone willing to work there with how superstitious people can be.
If it becomes a problem, just hire someone to do an exorcism.
Actually, I do know of someone who could be up to the task.
Is it your twin brother who's also a priest?
You remember the Ludgates party at their Christchurch summer residence?
Of course. It was an excellent soiree. Everything was so classy, too. Such good taste.
Oh, that place was a pigsty until they hired out this interior designer and they turned it into a bloody palace. She worked for the Exodus for their apartment in Soho too, and they recommended her when we were looking up pieces for our beach house in Porto Colom. I think I have a business card No, I must have left it in my other jacket.
Why would you have the business card on you?
Anyway, she's called, what's her name? Marianne, I believe, yes. But truly, if anyone were to get that place in McCullough, well, they'd be the envy and the talk of the town.
They'd be super haunted while they were at it.
Well, if you put it that way, I might just snatch it up for myself. This place was starting to feel a bit small lately anyway.
Screw you! Look at how big this place is! Sure, a 3-story penthouse might not fit the definition of small for some people. Okay, maybe a lot of people. But it isn't big enough to have grand parties in. Why are you having grand parties? It seems like you don't like any of the people you invite. As it is, I only invited about 30 people to this one, and it already feels cramped in here. Invite people you actually like being around. Get some real friends. You'll have a smaller party, but you'll have more fun. It certainly would be nice if I didn't have to ride in an elevator up and down several floors before I can get anywhere as well. Okay, that is fair. There is a benefit to having a nice yard. You could get a dog. All Luke's words and not mine. Besides, I have been looking for a good anniversary gift. Luke might like this one. Where is he anyway? I don't know, probably 6 inches deep in someone else. Actually, that was too generous, more like 3 inches. Luke is dressed to the nines, as he usually is, when he looks ready for whatever the day will throw at him. His butler and valet wait at his side, just in case he isn't as ready as he looks. Oh sure, that is normal. What is confusing me is the fact that he is on his way out of the penthouse, considering he won't have to go anywhere until much later.
Where are you going?
Probably to have an affair. It's what rich men do.
I am to attend the Triad Autumn Tasting. I do believe I informed you of this 2 weeks ago.
What the fuck? Why is he so hostile all of a sudden?
Yes. And might I remind you that I had stricken that off your schedule? Because 1, the doctor told you to stop consuming so much alcohol.
Yeah, you have the hardest working liver in the world, buddy.
And 2, I informed you a few days ago about the open house we are going to attend in its place. I've even found this marvelous interior designer, Mary Ann McCullough.
Marianne, get out of this mess. The money's not worth it, girl.
It's a 3.5-hour drive to Cardiff. I don't have time for this.
Well, make time. This is your wife and a potential home you will be spending your future together in.
This is like that little party you threw all over again. You don't inform me of it, and you expect me to stay and be a gracious host when I have business elsewhere.
She does inform you. You just forget because you don't care.
You know how I operate, Hana. Unless this was penciled in, I am sticking to my schedule.
Divorce, divorce, divorce.
If I may intrude, the madam is correct. Your physician did insist you moderate your drinking, unless you wish to incur acute pancreatitis.
Let him have the pancreatitis. Let it get him.
And you did have this open house penciled in last Wednesday morning.
Bullocks, I don't remember doing so.
Well, you did. While very hungover, in fact.
Eat shit, you fucking bastard. Eat shit. He did. Moaned about me being too loud, but gave in after some pushing. Perhaps that was a bit too cruel and manipulative of me, but no, honey. It was a girl boss moment. It was a girl boss moment.
Whose side are you on?
Hannah's!
Come on, Luke. You promised we'd do whatever I want this weekend.
Yeah, Luke, keep the promises you made to your wife. She's too good for you anyway.
Gordon Bennett, fine. I am giving this house tour of yours a chance. But if it proves to be a waste of time, I am going to Cardiff, and you are going to take a cab home.
Slap him. Slap this fucker in the face. Hannah! Hannah, leave him! Leave him! Just pack all the things and leave.
Are we clear?
Take all the expensive knickknacks. It's just a bit of a husband and wife tit for tat, isn't it? All couples have their arguments. Not all couples have arguments like this. Not healthy, functioning ones anyway. Once the honeymoon phase is over, as they seem to call it, reality sets in and you and your partner might not always see eye to eye. Your husband's a fucking prick, hon. Perhaps it has been the years. 7 of them is nothing to scoff at. 7 is, you know what, maybe you can get out while you have the chance, so 7 years is all you wasted on this loser. Instead of your entire life.
I bloody believe I agreed to this. I was really looking forward to the triad tasting.
And I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to you dying of liver failure. Though sometimes I think it's something a bit more than just simple disagreements, and I have to stop myself from wondering where we went wrong. You are fundamentally incompatible as people because you are a much better person than he is, and he does not seem interested in putting the hard work and effort into improving himself.
There's always the Triad Christmas tasting in Manchester next month, and that'll only be an hour-and-a-half drive.
Okay, he can die then. Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy New Year. Have I been neglectful? No! Oh my god, no! She's talking like he's a spoiled child acting out because mommy hasn't had time for him. This is your husband, not your kindergartner. Have I offended? Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Honey, no. Have I acted shamefully? No!
Yes, but Cardiff.
He's like a kindergartner. Certainly, any problem can be discussed. You know what else can just you know what else can solve this problem? Divorce papers. As long as he doesn't turn me away. Turn him away.
Well, there goes my good mood.
What good mood, motherfucker? What good mood?
Are you happy now, Hana?
Hannah? No, she's very upset because she's in love with you and doesn't understand why you're like this. Me? I would be very happy when this ghost kills you. I hope you die. I hope the ghost kills you. I am rooting for the ghost right now, you fucking son of a bitch. Why must he treat this way? Defend yourself!
Yes, I am very happy, Luke. Because for once in a very long time, we are doing what I want.
You tell him, girlfriend!
I'm ecstatic. Understood? And this would be perfect if you stop acting like a child who needs their nappy changed.
Let him have it! Let him have it!
We will be leaving after lunch for the Ermengarde mansion. You are going to park your rear in the car and keep mum. And you are going to behave during the tour.
Looks like someone's been a naughty boy and is getting a scolding from his mama. Needless to say, Luke looks a bit shocked at my little outburst. Let's check the relationship chart. Why did it increase? Why did his relationship chart increase? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. He's into that. Okay, look, maybe this is the path to... Maybe if you yell at him enough, he'll be a better person. Maybe. I don't know. Discipline him, Hannah! He opened and closed his mouth a few times, struggling to reply before he crosses his arms and looks like a moping child.
Any more rules for this little excursion of yours, Your Highness?
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
No wine.
Ooh, yep, girl boss.
No wine.
No wine. Of the drinking kind or verbal kind?
Unacceptable! I am already not allowed to the tasting, and you would deprive me of that simple pleasure?
Dude, you're an alcoholic.
If I see you take one sip today, I will put the stocks under lock and key. Do you understand me?
Don't forget the bottles he keeps in his dresser.
I like you, Johannes. I like you.
Whose side are you on?
Hannah's!
How many times in one day can you ask that?
As many times as I need you, traitor.
Sometimes you just gotta pick the winning team, and let's face it, Hannah's gonna milk you for everything you have in that divorce. The ride to the mansion is quiet, with Luke having stared out the window the entire way, not paying attention to anything around him. Meanwhile, I'm conflicted. I don't know if I should apologize for changing his plans like that. Never apologize! Women apologize too much. But by the time we arrive at the mansion, I see his eyes light up with genuine interest. Apologizing is the last thing on my mind. The whole affair with the Ermengarde mansion is certainly an interesting experience. The place has been renovated and restored by the owners for what they claim to be acceptable standards. The mansion itself looks like something befitting of a fairy tale or period piece. It's tastefully decorated, and with a little bit of love and attention, I'm sure it can be a place Luke and I can call home. And the number of other prospective buyers that have come from powerful and wealthy Luxborn certainly did not disappoint, marking the estate as prime property. If the Lees are amongst the group who went with the Rose Woman, and I saw the other notable faces, though I did not really feel like mingling. Unfortunately for every one of them, the Wrights are interested in buying. Ooh, achievement. Wheel and Woe. What's been bugging my... Oh! This is what Isabella looks like outside of her character portrait. Aw, she looks cute. Aw, she looks sad. What's been bugging my mind, however, is that Isabel. It's Isabella! I know you have a low relationship with her, but come on. You know, I genuinely thought that Hannah was actually, like, intentionally getting her name wrong for a slight, but now I'm seeing Hannah really does just think her name is Isabel. It's Isabella! What is her problem? Well, you keep getting her name wrong. I still don't quite understand what is happening. One moment she is scrambling to give us the paperwork to finalize the sale, then she's panicking over some sort of prank letter or another.
Dear me, is Isabella all right?
No, a ghost pushed her down the stairs earlier. And also, it's Isabella. It is apparent with the way she shakes and by the pallor of her skin, something has really shaken her up.
Isabella, do you need me to call that ambulance?
Rose, it's not too late. We can still make you get you out of this mess. Somehow. I'm a bit worried, but it will be best if she's attended to by someone more familiar to her, like her partner. But even then, the girl refuses Rose's offered drink and looks about ready to make a run for it.
No, I'm just feeling a bit out of it. Excuse me. I'll be back. I just need to catch my breath.
Even the name here is Isabel instead of Isabella, really cementing Hannah genuinely believes she has this woman's name right. And she does so, just as I predicted, and her partner follows like a concerned mother. There's an awkward air among us as we are left in the wake of whatever that was. The others murmur and gossip with each other, speaking of the poor, daft girl telling the tale of whoever was not audience to the act in the first place. It doesn't take long for the woman Rose to return and pull us aside into the study for what I rightfully assume is damage control. Rose invites Marianne in too, hoping to apologize to her as well. But the woman refuses, saying she is not one of her clients anyway. That leaves myself, Rose, and Luke. The last is all too eager to make himself comfortable in a study that he no doubt already claimed as his own.
I can't apologize enough about what just happened. Please forgive Isabella. She's been under a lot of pressure lately. She's young and all those rumors about this being haunted just got to her head. And it must be this terrible heat too. Not a drop of rain for days now.
Are you sure it is wise to just let her go like that? Where is the poor dear? She might get hurt.
She's more likely to hurt somebody else, given what just happened.
Luke, shut the fuck up or I'll hurt you.
I told her to sit down and take a break. Already rang someone to pick her up, too.
That might be for the best, dear. But please, we're here to talk about the mansion, yes?
The creepy portrait in the background that looks eerily like Luke staring back at us.
Why, I absolutely adore it. Don't you, Luke? Some of the rooms will certainly have to be repurposed. We want to change the appliances and have Marianne lead on the decor, but the whole thing is just lovely.
I guess. It's certainly a lot roomier than our penthouse.
Exactly. Lots of space for guests, parties, a lot of room for little ones to run around too.
Oh god, Hannah wants to have children with this man. Hannah, no! Divorce him! Find someone better to be the father of your children!
Let's not discuss that right now, Buttercup.
Oh, Luke does not want a baby. It makes sense. He still is a baby. He's too childish to have a child.
Anyway, I do think it would be a shame to let this mansion slip past us.
But you haven't even finished touring the house.
Well, we like what we've seen.
I'm making her job easier for her, am I not? No need for loans or long price negotiations. We can just sign a contract and close the deal. Really, you'd think the woman will be more than happy about an easy sale. I feel like Hannah is the type of woman that rushes into things, and that kind of probably led to her rushing into her relationship with Luke. I know how these estate agents worked, how long they had to wait, and how much they had to spend even just for a single sale. Why should she be jumping for joy by now? I'm sure the commission on this mansion is nothing to sneeze at, even if she has to split it with that Isabel girl.
Do you think we could have horses here?
Yeah, probably there's room.
Yes, those do sound nice, love. Anyway, if anyone else is interested in buying this property, I assure you that I'm able and willing to give a better offer.
A vineyard would be nice. Or maybe
And we do reward our people quite generously, Rose. So if I were you, I would start on that paperwork.
helicopter pad.
Sure. I pause. And there's a small moment of complete silence where Rose and I just stare incredulously at Luke. I mean, you might have to cut down a few trees, but you could do it. It's an unspoken understanding, a rule between the two of us that we have to put on an act. With our social standing where image matters, it is also important to avoid making enemies. And to follow this rule is an easy feat for me. From youth, I have been the well-trained social butterfly, gracious and graceful. Luke, on the other hand, Luke is a spoiled little bitch.
Oh, wait, what, Luke? No, what?
He wants a helicopter pad.
Whatever would we need a helipad for?
To land the helicopter on. Well, he likes to play the fool sometimes, even if he is anything but. As he throws me a wry smile, I shake my head and beckon Rose over. This is to be our home, and there is nothing she or anyone else can do to change my mind. That ghost will have to pry the deed of this estate from your cold, dead hands, and the ghost very well might do that. This is the place that speaks the power, importance, and, at the same time, of safety and comfort. Perhaps we can even have our family here. Oh my god, is Hannah already pregnant? Please tell me Hannah's not pregnant. Hannah, Luke's not ready to be a father. Luke's not even a good husband or a good person. There is definitely no better gift than this for our special date. Why, everything here is so absolutely wonderful. Oh, fuck! Okay. Well, except for this ugly painting in the study. Yeah. Yeah, that's a painting, sure. That's a painting. It looks like a bad fake of an Edvard Munch painting. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Here's the deal. I'm willing to pay 10% higher than your listing price.
Okay.
If anyone tries to outbid us, just add another 5%. I doubt anyone can, of course.
Just make up like 5 other people trying to outbid you so you can bring up the money.
Or, you know what? Just add 15% to the listing price, and we can sign all the paperwork now.
Why do you want to buy a haunted house so badly? Oh, Hannah. Hannah, you're a nice girl. Get out while you still have the chance.
I guess, if that's what you want. That won't be any trouble. I don't have all the papers now. Didn't think this would be a quick sell. I'll have copies sent to you so you can look over them.
Like, Rose is like Rose could just make up a bunch of fake bidders and just be like, okay, we've gone from 5% increase to 50% increase on the price. Totally could do that. That might be illegal. I'm not sure. I don't think Hannah cares. I think Hannah just wants this haunted house really, really badly.
And if you'd still like to finish the rest of the tour with Isabella's group, you're more than welcome to.
No, I think we're good here. We'd appreciate a private tour of the place a lot more, I think.
All right. Should I let Marianne in, then?
Marianne? Oh, right. She's been waiting outside the study this whole time, hasn't she? Oh, God. Marianne, get out while you have the chance. I'll need to have a little chat with her to move this little mansion project forward.
Please do.
There's a look of apprehension when the other woman enters the study. Yet, like a professional, I see the moment when she steels herself and masks her worry. Oh, she definitely saw a ghost out there or some shit. Admirable.
We have this project, then?
Of course. Will you be needing anything from us?
Having the floor plans would be a great start, just so that I can look at them beforehand. And if you could tell me when you're available for a meeting so that I can include it in my calendar?
Oh, is a meeting really all that necessary, Marianne? I guess we can send Johannes to help you out.
Oh, Johannes. That's how it's pronounced. I've been pronouncing it Johannes. Johannes. Got it. I like him. He's fun.
You two can
what
start
the
by getting
fuck?
rid of this ugly painting.
Oh, God. A hush falls upon the room at my request.
What painting?
Oh, no. And lo and behold, the painting is gone. Well, that's not good. That's really not good. Oh, God, and my cat's here. Yes, kitty, yes. Haunted paintings are gonna kill us all. In its place, a mirror stands, which leaves me to look at my own confused expression.
Odd. Well, no matter.
Hannah is way too chill about this. Like, she's at like a 2, and she should be at an 11.
Back to the topic at hand. Marianne, dear, we are simply far too busy to meet up.
Or perhaps I should just free up your schedule. It's fine.
But I guess we can free up a day to meet with you.
Yeah, like, come on, she's remodeling your house for you.
I don't really need another maudlin Monday reading about Maury anyway. The book club can function without me for one day. What time shall we be seeing each other? How does lunch sound?
Besides, my house has a higher priority over book club. Why, we can hold the next meeting in this place. Oh my god, maybe the ghost can join the book club, and then everything will be good. The ghost just needed some friends, and is chill, and no one has to get stabbed except for your shitty husband. Surely the beauty and grandeur of it will inspire spirited and lively debates about whether modern-day writers could match up to the classics. I might as well clear up the rest of my week to handle whatever affairs buying this mansion requires of me. Any social activity can be put off until the Emergarde, or rather the Wrights Mansion, great debut. I'll have my fill of great parties and gatherings, especially when I organize them myself.
That sounds good. Although, with a project of this scope, we might need most of the day to tackle your concerns. A more thorough inspection of the place is also preferable.
Breakfast then. It's a date.
It's really not.
It could be. Leave your husband for her. Hannah, leave Luke. Run away with Marianne. The two of you can run away with the ghost and be the ultimate throuple.
All right. Monday, 10 o'clock sharp. We'll see you then.
Actually, Marianne suggested that we meet at 9, but who is even awake at that unholy hour? I was lucky enough to wake up this morning before Luke went all the way to Cardiff. We say our goodbyes and shake hands and make it clear without outright saying it that we now own this house. By the time we leave the mansion grounds, sunset is almost upon us.
So, you really want to buy this place then? That's a bit of a big impulse buy, even coming from you.
It's a nice house, if you ignore the ghost.
Not that I'm complaining.
I feel elation when I hear those words from him. It's not every day that one is able to please someone like Luke. He gives away false flattery to sway those who starve for his attention and approval. But in the privacy of closed doors, he would often express his grievances. He neither censored himself in front of me nor spared me from his criticism.
You have been saying the penthouse was getting a bit too small for you. Happy anniversary!
Oh. That time of the year already?
Oh my god, he does not even remember that it's their anniversary. Leave him. Just throw out the entire man. He forgot about it last year, too. Oh my fucking god, I hope the ghost kills him. I understand that he's a busy man, but...
Is that why you want to buy it?
Yes. You don't like it?
I do.
I don't like you. I don't like you at all, Luke.
But I remember you used to talk about how you wanted to live next to the beach.
Botany Bay, Kent. I remember the sea, the water that used to stretched on for miles as far as the eyes can see. As a kid, I loved our beach trips, swimming all day as much as I could. I was a well-behaved child, and the only time I was ever truly difficult was when I refused to get out of the waters, even when my fingers had gone all wrinkly. And even when they managed to pull me out of the water, there was always sandcastles. The day before we married, I told Luke that I wanted a house on the beach and a dog. A kid or two. None of those came true 7 years later.
That was a childish dream. Living next to the beach is so impractical if you really think about it.
You can live near the beach, though. Like, my grandparents used to live near a beach. They didn't live, like, right next to it, but they were within walking distance. And it was always nice to visit them in the summer to go to the beach while I saw them. So, if you're like a street or two down, you can be close without, like, being right on the sand.
I don't know. It's not a bad thought to see you in a bathing suit every day.
Maybe another time, love. We still have forever, don't we?
Not if the ghost has anything to say about it. I really do feel like Hannah might be able to change Luke for the better, though. Like, maybe she could inspire him to grow and improve as a person. But also, that shouldn't be her responsibility, and change needs to come from within. He says nothing, only grabbing my hand and holding it tight as we spend the rest of the ride home in silence. I miss the sea. Sick and hovering over the loo at 3 in the morning, the picture I paint right now is hardly glamorous. A horrible fishy taste is left in my mouth as I throw up what I had for dinner, and I hate the acidic stench that fills the lavatory. Oh my god, Hannah's pregnant. This is sick. This is pregnancy sickness. Oh my god. The burning sensation at the back of my throat is no help whatsoever. I can feel another wave of nausea coming up when the door opens.
Hannah, what are you doing so early out of bed?
She's sick because you got her pregnant, you dumbass.
I'm fine, love. I must have just eaten something bad.
That's all I managed to say before vomiting again into the porcelain throne. Lovely.
Just go back to bed, Luke. I'm going to clean up here.
I refuse to look at him. I don't want him to see me like this. Hey, he married you. He made vows, in sickness and in health. He should be holding your hair back for you right now. The last time I've had a horrible morning retching into the toilet was during my college years, being the life of the party. Thoughtless and shameless, I had thrown away months to frivolous merriment and pointless hookups. I didn't even retain any of the connections I had made from that time. Sure, they still know of me, and I still know of them, but we still do business from time to time. But I've lost touch with anyone who I didn't see on a daily basis. I hardly have any of the friends I had when I was still Hannah Evans. Teachers, fellow university students, drinking buddies, and old conquests like Jack.
No, don't touch me, sweetie. It's disgusting.
He should be holding your hair back for you right now.
I'm disgusting.
No, you are not. You are lovely. Luke sits down next to me on the toilet floor to hold my hair even as I cough up more fish. He wipes the vomit from the corner of my mouth and just stares. He does seem to genuinely care about her.
Do I need to fire someone? I don't feel sick.
Just feeling a bit under the weather, dear. It's been unbearably hot as of late, hasn't it? I do wish it would rain.
Are you sure it wasn't those sweets? I told you not to eat those sweets.
Maybe. Well, don't laugh.
Well, I can't help if you make that sort of face.
He starts chuckling, and soon enough he's in a fit of laughter. The scene happening next to the loo filled with sick just makes the whole thing bizarre, and it nearly makes me start giggling as well. I try to stifle it, though, as I smack him on the shoulder.
I'm not making a face, Luke. Stop laughing. Shut up.
Hannah does deserve better, but I do see why she's with him. Like, I do understand that he does exhibit care for her. It's just that he needs to be doing it a lot more. When he would not stop laughing, I let myself go as laughter bubbles up from my own throat, and I forget whatever ill feelings plagued me. We are just husband and wife, laughing together at a funny face, the little things in life. I let myself go because I know that these moments will not last forever. But if I just know the terrible things that are to come to us, I would have wished with everything I have then and there that the laughter stayed. Yeah, the ghost.
Up, higher. Come on now.
The place is bustling with movers carrying furnishings here and there, along with several trunks of personal belongings taken from our penthouse. Luke watches them like a hawk, making sure nothing is handled carelessly or gets stolen.
Careful now. I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African Blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings.
Why is he making a fist? What are you gonna do if someone breaks something? Punch them? I'd like to see you try and square up in a fight, man. You'd get your ass handed to you.
Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
Dude, what the shit?
Luke, do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
The what? What's the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup.
What the
Careful, that's Emma
Rich people.
No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle a Napoleon Abueva.
The ghost is just gonna be knocking down expensive vases like a cat would glasses of water. I can see the exasperation, and I have to send a foreman an apologetic glance. Tip them well. Tip them. This is reminding me of... Oh, God. I remember one time, when I was a kid, my mom was getting new doors. Like, she was getting a new front door put on the house, and they were gonna, like... And she hired people to, like, take off the old door and take it away and put it in, install the new door. And I did not want a new door because I hated any form of change. And I was trying to stop them from taking the door. And my mom, and I was like screaming and crying, and my mom had to physically pick me up because I was just a 6-year-old having a meltdown over a door being changed. And my mom's just like, oh, and like the people she hired were like, what the shit's wrong with your kid? Because I don't think they'd ever seen that before. I don't think they'd ever seen a kid have a tantrum over a door being taken away and a new one being installed. That was some bizarre shit. Even Johan rolls his eyes as he goes by. Considering Luke is always like this during a project, Johan and I have gotten used to it. Poor Marianne, on the other hand, looks a bit stressed at seeing this gigantic mess before quickly going back to work. Everything just has to be perfect, exactly the way he wants it. One little thing out of place, one little thing that doesn't fit the image he clearly constructed in his head, and Luke gets bent out of shape.
Sweetie, why don't we go and sort your suits upstairs?
Yeah, go play with your suits for a little bit while you calm down.
Let Johans and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
Johans has the best lines. Taking him by the hand, I lead him upstairs into our bedroom. The ghost is gonna be in there! The place has been arranged first so that we can get some rest, no matter what state the rest of the mansion is in. I am definitely glad that I can just lie down on a soft, comfy bed after what has been a busy morning. Watching Luke act like his life depended on getting this move done is tiring all on its own. And to think I have a whole day of this ahead of me. I feel the bed dip beside me as Luke sits down with a sigh.
Well, I can't wait for this to be over.
I don't know. It's fun seeing you all fired up. Here at home and not at work, you know.
You know I can't always be home, Hannah. I have a company to run, unless you've forgotten.
Oh my god, dude. You married your wife, not your job.
I haven't forgotten. You're the one who insists on being there to make sure each and every little thing is under control.
Get an assistant, dude. Okay? There's this thing called delegating. You could delegate a bit. You could stand to do that.
I just really miss you sometimes, and I wish you were at home more often.
She is the only person in your life that misses you when you're not there instead of being relieved that you're gone. Enjoy it.
Why, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home.
Bring cats home. Bring all the cats home.
And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture.
You could put plastic on the furniture to keep them from scratching it.
Besides, you don't even like cats.
True. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
You got a yard big enough for one.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess. I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute.
Oh, there are dogs that actually are, like, hyperallergenic. Like, if you get, like, an Old English sheepdog, their hair isn't like a dog's fur. It's like human hair. You have to hire a groomer to take care of them and, like, give them baths and stuff, unless you want to do it yourself. But they're, like, they wouldn't have the smell. They wouldn't have the wet dog smell.
If you think about it, a cat would be better.
You could get a hairless cat. Oh my god, you could get a hairless cat and a hairless dog, and then you wouldn't have to worry about them shredding. It's not always that we can just lie down and talk about these sorts of things. To joke around as if we're teenagers again with very little problem in the way of responsibilities and roles. To hear his genuine, honest-to-goodness laughter is a rarity. This is just the second time as of late, and I can only see it as a sign of good things to come.
All good points. I guess we could just have kids. That is, if you prefer dealing with soiled nappies and sick as opposed to dead birds, mice, and litter boxes.
Well, the kid could bring in dead birds, too.
I've already told Marianne about turning the second bedroom into a children's room.
I guess sometimes I don't know when I'm crossing the line. I didn't say that I'm a good comedian, did I?
Not this again.
Oh my god, he really does not want that baby.
What? I wasn't being serious.
It's not something you take the piss out of.
Dude, she's already pregnant. Why do you think she was puking last night?
Having a kid is a big responsibility, Hannah.
Really? I thought it was like getting a goldfish.
We've talked about this, haven't we? I'm not ready to be a parent. I'd probably end up killing the little brat by the week's end.
Okay, that's a thing he said. What should I say? You'll be a great father, or apologize for bringing it up. I don't want her to say either of these things because I don't think he's going to be a great father. But I also don't want her to apologize to him. Because I don't like her apologizing to him. So I think let's just, you know what? Maybe fatherhood would change him. It probably wouldn't, but maybe it would.
Kylie likes you well enough.
Who's Kylie? The mention of our little goddaughter places a conflicted look on his face. Sometimes it's cute when he denies having a soft spot for the little girl. But then again, sometimes it's sad, and it makes me wonder what happened to make him think so poorly of himself in that regard.
Yes, well, it's Kylie.
Like, being a godparent for a kid is pretty different, because you only see them sometimes.
The tyke likes everybody, and, on the off chance she doesn't, likes them well enough as long as they buy her sweets.
Dude, I'm pretty sure your baby would be the same. Give it candy and you're good.
And sure, that kid is great. But if I get tired of her, I can ship her back to her father at the end of the day. Having kids of our own will be a whole different monster entirely.
Start with a dog. I've never heard him talk about his father in anything but a business context. I recall Damien Wright kept hearing about him from my own father even before we met Luke. The business world praised him for running a tight ship, all until one mistake led to a great loss for the enterprise. It was then that news of Luke Wright, the prodigy son and successor to the old man, started to show up. He aided in its recovery and growth until the Great Recession. I'm getting a bit off track. Regardless, I've never heard him talk about his father like one would talk about family.
I think you'll be a great father.
There is a smile, no matter how half-hearted it may be. I really do think that. He might not be a good, honest man. A part of me knows that, though I try to silence it. Like, yeah, no shit! But I know Luke well enough to know that he will be a better father than either Damien Wright or Henry Evans. I love my father, but he never had the time.
If it is any consolation, I think you'd be a decent mother.
Oh my god, the best he could say is decent. On one hand, I have never heard of his mother. A silence settles, both comfortable and uncomfortable. There is a familiarity in each other's company despite the awkwardness that had transpired. Go to couples counseling. Actually, Luke needs therapy in general. Defenses and masked down without anybody else looking, we are both together and alone in this quiet. But a crash from downstairs startles us both out of our reverie. Oh shit! Ghost is attacking the movers. Crap. Luke lets out a heavy sigh before coming up to his feet and straightening his jacket.
I'll have to attend to that then.
Yeah, okay, don't hit anyone.
Be good, darling.
He's gonna be bad.
And watch out for your blood pressure.
It's gonna be worse. He gives me a kiss on the cheek before leaving while I lay there in a daze. Alone, as per usual. Oh great, cool, you're just alone. In a haunted house. I really should be used to it by now. I can feel the minutes tick by with me just lying there, feeling miserable and full of self-pity. I have rolled over to lie on my stomach at this point with my face buried into the pillows when there's a knock at the door. Grumbling at them to go away doesn't work as the voice comes from the other side.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Okay, good, it's not a ghost. Wait, is that today? Oh yes. People had caught wind of our new mansion the very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted that he would acquire the property in no time and allowed a photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled today. Well, there were complications, and it took longer than it usually does for us.
In a minute, Hansi.
Johannes, if you could at least make it through the end.
Hansi!
Tell them I'll be right down, Hansi.
Johannes. Johannes is fun. I hope the ghost doesn't kill him. The mansion grounds has been one of the first things to be fixed up, aside from the bedroom. Although it's still a work in progress, it had a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favorite daffodil stands out easily, having been transplanted from the pots that used to litter the rooftop of the penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought Luke was being hard on them, then they clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He is hard to miss, the hulk of the man that clearly did not belong, and the big backpack and the suitcase he was with makes him look much larger. Oh, did he get an agreement to come take pictures? It is a peculiar sight seeing someone who looks like he does handling little delicate things with such care. He looks up from the garden and takes a double take before his friendly face replaces his serene one.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am. Hope you weren't waiting too long.
Zach, just go. Just get away from the haunted house while you still have a chance. Oh my god, I don't want the ghost to get you.
But it looks like you're still moving in, huh?
Zach, run! There's a ghost in here. I don't want it to get you. Oh no, you're my favorite. I want you to live.
Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
Oh no.
You look familiar. Have we met?
Yes, your husband said some very awful things to him. I have a very wide social circle, so everyone looks familiar at one point or another. But one would think I'd remember someone who stands out like him. The struggle to recall must have been evident on my face as he quickly, kindly answers my question.
Oh, I was with Isabella, your estate agent, when she had the house blessed.
Yeah, that.
Oh, yes, that's right. Small world, isn't it?
Should have known you were Miss Wright.
The one and only. Welcome to Maison de Right. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed, but it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah, if I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hannah.
Oh, Monsieur le Photographe. New achievement. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in the industry, at the very least. He is kind and courteous, listening and following as I lead him around the house. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever we cross paths with them. I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They are for the magician's toolkit. They are quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he has procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruits, lemons, and trays with pepper mills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters are filled with colorful nuts and grains brought to the kitchen setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to count, all that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights? Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms one at a time, and although we first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore. There's a freaking ballroom? Oh my god! This is a really nice mansion. Shame about the ghost. Shame about the ghost. The ballroom needs a little preparation with its grand design. Although there is some trouble at first when the wide open space and the pictures being backlit. It is in the kitchen that Zachary's props come in handy, considering how Johannes kept the place so neat and sterile, and we can practically eat off the floor. Oh, are you gonna show him the wine cellar? Just look at all those knives. Ghost is gonna grab one of those, I swear. We carry on, touring the house, taking pictures where we can, with the exception of the rooms we have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at his photos yet. Funnily enough, he uses a traditional camera. I didn't even know film still existed. Yeah, that is true. Like, nowadays, everyone always just uses, like, their phone cameras. Like, I knew someone once who had a traditional camera, but she never used it and always used her cell phone camera instead, because it was just like she kept forgetting her traditional camera in the trunk of her car, and she always had her cell phone in her pocket, so she always took pictures with her cell phone instead. With the way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine the photography must be cathartic for him, judging by how at ease he looks while taking pictures. There are small snippets of conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes as far as to talk about these terminologies like shutter speeds and aperture when I ask about the technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it is made, but much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas, but just watching someone passionately practicing their craft such as this is exciting in its own way. Going on the many rooms has been quite the experience for both of us. Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. It's as if we're taking pictures. It is as we're taking pictures in the foyer that things become a standstill for a moment, just a moment. And had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. Hi. How you doing, hon? You having a day? You're having a day. His finger doesn't even move to release the shutter. Zachary, I told you to get out of here while you still had a chance. Now you're involved in the ghost. Hey, how you doing? You're having a day. Yet he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shake, and there is a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach, is something the matter?
Don't move. Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning it around, though, there seems to be nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something that's all.
Zach, you need to leave!
Let's get back to the pictures.
Zach, run while you still have the chance!
Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggle to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat. Yeah, the ghost is trying to choke you to death. Just ignore her. She'll go away. Everything stops. And everything starts again as I manage to choke out...
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. Ghost tried to choke you. It's fine. It was probably just a dizzy spell. No, it wasn't. I'm fine. That chandelier from the ceiling, I'm calling it right now. That ghost is gonna make it collapse on someone. And he says he's fine. Yeah, he says a lot of things. What is he, like, what's he gonna say? Is he either gonna say, oh, don't worry about me, I'm fine? Or is he gonna say, hey, there's a ghost, it's right behind you, and it's trying to choke you? I don't think that would help. We continue at the same pace as before, although there is an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job.
Freelance. It gets complicated.
It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line, sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so as I see his shoulders slump and the easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films. Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right?
Well, you just gotta learn it.
I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
Well, those people can go shove it.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
Yeah, we didn't get to see the movie because everyone was talking about ghosts and Isabella getting haunted. He hesitates, but when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. Blue Fonzie la fleur à la pas sombre des Nazarbritic. I tried saying words. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. He speaks with the passion of one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he was an amazing speaker if only I wasn't so engrossed in listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and in the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general still being treated like second-class citizens, and because of the color of their skin. It was all just positively riveting and sad. It comes to a point where he loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he had just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion, after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Is Hannah looking to have an affair now? Hannah, leave your husband and marry Zach. Zach's a good man. He'll treat you right. He'll buy you Cinnabons.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
Yeah, Zach sees what Hannah's trying right now. Hannah, divorce papers first, then new relationship. I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke, and would he still have loved me if I was any lesser?
What was your home like? These things you talk about. It sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around. But a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have personal guards and the stolen item is not a pencil but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's super fucking haunted!
It's nice, I suppose.
It doesn't make your husband want to have a baby with you the way you were hoping it would.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that.
You really were hoping that it'd make him want a baby, and it didn't.
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl, all dolled up and treated like fragile porcelain with nursemaids waiting to me hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, and all I could ask for on a whim, I could ask for it on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents. Just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off to who knows where they were needed to next. I saw them more often on the telly or in the papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us, and there's a moment where neither of us are sure how to go from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal, and yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here.
Get a dog!
You'll make home out of it yet.
He certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one, just as large and extravagant, and just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde mansion. What's next on the agenda?
Dude, you gotta go talk to your priest friend again. The ghost is not gone.
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Tell them all how haunted it is.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, The Darkest Hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it.
Hannah's so cool.
Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite. What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's being busy, looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such a crass word. But he recovers quickly, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents.
Hannah is really hoping he'll be into her.
Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
Though I don't know about quoting fancy poetry, but I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
It has been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we have just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around. A bit too comfortable. Yeah, Hannah wants to have an affair with Zach. You know what? Hannah, divorce papers first. Then you shoot your shot. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. Oh my god, Hannah, divorce first. He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agree to do his little interview. Hannah, divorce first! And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd. It's just how I am. Zachary is the one who's being odd. Look, most decent people don't want to have affairs with someone that's married. Why, anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. Well, you're a married woman, and he does not want to he does not want to be the other person in your relationship. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people he works with. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he is a big boy. He should be able to handle me. Hannah, you need to back off. All it is a friendly touch here. A pretty smile there. A gentle swaying of the hips as I move. Hannah, why are you trying to seduce him? You're married. Get a divorce first. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? It is infidelity. Yes, Hannah, if you're not happy in your marriage, divorce your husband, and then you can flirt with whoever you wish. But right now, this isn't very good. Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the view outside. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, hon. At least, that's how I see it. Well, is that how your husband's gonna see it?
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. Stop it, Hannah. Stop it.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing.
Yeah, you're a married woman.
Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
You're married. He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. Hannah, you're married! You didn't even take the ring off! Being told implicitly that I'm being too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned by the fact that he pointed out rather than being, well, rejected. Not that there's anything going to happen between us in the first place. Look, Hannah, if you don't want to be with your husband anymore, yeah, you shouldn't be with him. He sucks, but get a divorce first, then try meeting new people. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right? Well, would you think of it as harmless flirting if your husband was talking to other women the way you're talking to Zach right now?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No. No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
Hannah, what the shit? Oh my god, she's being horny on Maine. I can't help it. I really, really can't. And I'm going to apologize lots later. You want to cheat on your husband! Surely, by the catty smile on my face, it's obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. No, it's not. I think you're being more serious than you wish you were being. The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away, if it isn't still obvious. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and stuttering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
No, what? No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man.
Hannah just wants everyone to have an affair today.
I do not think you can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
He's the total package.
You can? Oh my. Wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Hannah is like, okay, find a young lady that is not married for Zachary.
Let's not get carried away.
Zachary, take it up on her. She probably has a bunch of rich friends.
Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Course, I'll even deliver them personally. Just, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
Johannes is a married man. As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Hello. Judging by the slight raise of his brows, he has heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof. Danke.
You are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
Oh my god. To my amusements, he takes a step back, safely placing himself within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hana. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, and the grin on his face as we say our goodbyes is the sweetest that I have ever seen. I linger, looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle, backpack safely secured in the basket by the front, and suitcase hooked to the back. I watch as he went down the path back to Enslem Village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It's dark. For a moment I thought the electric work is not up to par, but that is clearly not the case, as every other room here is bright with an artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size and my unfamiliarity with the room. Where's Johannes? Get him! To make matters worse, the darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, and something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle, and there is the distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there is a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman.
Oh god, he's fucking hungover. Get your shit together. There, at the end of the hall, is my beloved husband with his face in one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. However, I can feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid gleam mockingly at me.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe?
What the shit?
You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke. Are you actively trying to kill yourself?
Maybe.
Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Hit him with the car!
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please.
Yell at him louder.
Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me.
What bit you? What were you drinking earlier? Why are you still drinking? You need to stop drinking.
Helps with the hangover, dearest.
Why were you hungover to begin with?
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad.
In the morning?
I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons.
You have a problem.
And maybe I had one too much.
A big problem.
You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hana, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
Divorce him.
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you. That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that.
You are a grown adult. Stop acting like a petulant child and take accountability for your own actions.
You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey.
You have a problem, Luke.
I was informed the moment your little interview was done.
And he's jealous now. Great.
So, what was it then, What were you doing?
In all honesty, she was contemplating cheating on you, and I can't blame her. What's it gonna be? Should I tell the truth or a little lie? Be upfront. Tell him. Tell him you were with another man.
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living.
I have no reason to tell lies. It's not like I'm guilty of anything. But as Luke's expression turns, he makes me feel like I'm actually to blame for something. He has a way of making me laid bare with just a look. That had really struck me when we first met years ago.
That giant. You were
Oh,
having
what
a
the
secret
fuck?
meeting behind my back and it was with him?
Luke, go to the corner. Go sit in the corner.
What are you implying?
I'm implying nothing. I'm just worried. You know better than to trust those media types, Buttercup.
Luke, go sit in the corner and nurse off your hangover.
He must have been really friendly to occupy your time like that.
Oh my fucking god.
But all he's looking for is his next big headline.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning. He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like nature, the grass and trees, wonderful and breathtaking. Now as I look at them, they're nothing but the same shade of green as that bloody damn drink in his hand.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke.
Unlike you.
I can't say the same for you as of recent.
Let him have it, Hannah.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hannah.
No, I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, right?
You need to go to an AA meeting. Hangover forgotten during the course of this little spat, the man jumps to his feet and seethes. It looks like he's barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing he can find.
Oh, it is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want.
Then stop right now!
And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes. Whatever aftermath that occurs because of your little chit-chat with
Oh,
the
what the
Negro affects
fuck?
the both of us, however.
Oh my god, stop fucking calling him that, you fucking asshole.
Look, Luke, nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous.
Hannah, divorce him!
Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
Maybe you should drink more.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. Hannah, leave him! Leave him! A grand feast has been served, well, grander than usual anyway, most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. A platter of native oysters for starters, and tranche turbot with the purple sprouting broccoli, lemon, capers, and anchovy sauce for the mains. To finish it all off, black tea with a golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. But when our appetites are appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. Hannah, call a lawyer. File for divorce. Just get the hell out of here. Go get a nice house on the beach by yourself. Lonely, in the lull of night, I sit in a house too big and too empty, foreign and unwelcoming. Even with its warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There is no need for tears, however, as I know I can get through this like any other obstacle I have faced before. This is a minor setback, what I hope will be a long, happy life. Well, not if the ghost has anything to say about it. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and our future children fills me with renewed vigor. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already. The wailing is far away and muffled. Oh great, the ghost is crying. Great. Even she is in tears over how terrible your marriage is. Yet, at the same time, it shakes me to my very core as I hear it. As if the suffering is just standing right beside me. Hearing it sends a chill down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Oh, I don't like this. Who is that? Curiosity sinks as I follow the sorrowful sound into the kitchen. Don't follow it! And into the wine cellar hatch. Don't go down there!
Hello? Is anybody down there?
Hannah, why would you say that? I am curious and concerned, but there's no way I'm going to go down in a dark and humid underground. I am not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I can also not bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. Get the butler! Call your butler! Call the police! Do something other than this! It is as if if it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they are still human. More often than not, it was either Johannes or I who'd calm them down, who'd help them figure out how to go on about things. Unfortunately, I'm not in high spirits right now, so I'm not as wholly benevolent. So I will open the hatch, call them out. Don't open the hatch. Whatever you do, don't open the hatch. I knock 3 times. Waiting for any sort of reply yields me no results, and I've already touched the floor hatch far too many times than I would like. I take a deep breath before reaching out again to whoever's inside. I've learned from experience that people respond better to kindness than threats. Shouting angrily would not help in coaxing them out.
You, in the cellar, do come out. We don't want Luke waking up and finding you in there, do we?
Oh, don't go in the cellar. Just walk away, Hannah. Hannah, just walk away.
That man would go ballistic thinking someone was trying to steal his precious wine.
Still nothing.
You can have a good cry. Just not in there, yes? Why don't you come out here and we can have a cuppa and you can tell me all about whatever it is you're bawling about?
Hannah is such a nice woman, and I do not want her to get killed by a ghost right now. Oh, God, just walk away. With how long I am standing here, however, I'm starting to think of myself as a fool. I did not want to acknowledge the other feelings I have, especially as wailing took an eerie turn. Oh, I have to pause real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. Sorry I had to leave. There was a UPS driver and my dog was barking at it, and I needed to know if it was someone I needed to talk to. Oh God. The thought of being played with doesn't sit too well with me, and I had to stop myself from getting too hot-headed as I tried one more time.
Now you come out of there. That is an order from the lady of the house. Do you hear me?
This isn't gonna end well.
Why, I ought to.
Oh, Hannah, no. I freeze as a hand clamps down on my shoulder. The dread I've been feeling all this time makes itself known as I kneel, unmoving, not even daring to breathe. I can feel my heart pounding against my chest. But the touch is gone, as quickly as it had seized me. It's only Johannes I see when I look back.
Apologies, madam, for touching you like that. You were not responding to my voice, and you looked about ready to wake the whole mansion up.
I'm sorry. I was getting rather loud, wasn't I?
Johannes, thank God.
But that crying woman in there, we must do something about her.
He grows silent for a moment and just looks concerned. At least I'd like to interpret it as concern, given how stoic our head butler usually is. Or rather, it must have been a concern as he takes off a glove and presses the back of his hand to my forehead before a worrisome inquiry.
I beg your pardon. What crying woman?
Oh, shit.
Are you feeling well, madam?
In the cellar? Can't you hear her?
Madam, Hannah, no one is down there.
What?
The cellar is locked. Only Luke and I have duplicates of the keys. Nobody is down there.
Oh, shit. You know what? If I was Hannah, and I just moved into a new house, and ever since moving in, I started hearing things and seeing things that weren't there, I would immediately think that it was a gas leak and call someone to check that out. I stare at him in disbelief. But when I listen once more, I hear no crying. Tugging at the hatch for good measure proves his words to be true, too. The thing won't budge unless I had a key, short of using power tools on it.
Perhaps it is time for you to go to bed, madam.
Yeah, sleep this off.
You are simply tired and hearing things, a perfectly normal human experience. But if you are still experiencing auditory hallucinations in the morning, you are free to consult with me.
There's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach as he helps me up to my feet. What he says makes sense, and who am I to question someone who used to be a doctor? I'm just tired, that's all. A long day of moving, the interview, dealing with Luke, that has all drained me of any proper sense.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I just need some sleep, that's all.
Of course I'm right. Go on then. Gute Nacht.
Good night, Johans. Good night, house.
It's just fatigue. That's just what I keep telling myself, and I can't ignore the strange feeling in my gut. Either there is something wrong with this house, or there is something wrong with my head. Sleep will be elusive tonight. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found, and trying to call him on his mobile is a bust, as it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today, of all days, is every bit as upsetting because of what's to come. The morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I haven't the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent once again from his duties. Hopefully, he'll be back in time for the party. This is our house, after all. A grand housewarming party for the wonderful Wright Mansion. Every person of importance from Luxborn is invited, and there will be a few guests flying in as well. Of course, there will be some people from the media, along with our friends and acquaintances, who are made no less important regardless of their status in society. Marianne and I discussed business and last-minute touches to the house before finalizing everything. Not that there is much change from our original plans. Bar the huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted was completely practical. In the end, he had requested that I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from an antique store yesterday, including some toys, just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we all have a little need for the actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. And if we absolutely have to, we often choose to foot the bill for their visit to one of our hotels instead, always at Luke's own insistence. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay, the bedroom in the opposite wing is still up to the task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables.
No, I did not agree to him having a helipad.
All right, then. Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his requests right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where? I don't.
No, he's not around.
She didn't have to point out the obvious, now did she? After 7 long years, I'd already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still, not apparently.
But don't you have a party?
I want nothing more than to complain, to whine about how unfair it is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply too taboo among high society. To do so will make you a ripe target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, the lot of them, really. Most of them, at least. There were always good ones like Rasha Lee. Put your trust in the wrong person, and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems, and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Perhaps I am being a bit too rash, a bit too hot-headed, divulging in details. but I thought myself clever with a plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne's raised brow makes me unsure whether she's interested or not. Although it does make things better if she has no interest and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize whatever I might say to her.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband. But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark.
Hannah is very clearly talking about her own marriage here.
What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...
Be honest with me.
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone to sugarcoat it. I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee while I stare into my own cup of tea. The silence stretches on, and I almost believe that she will never answer my question. I suppose that I shouldn't blame her, putting her in a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though I am loath to admit it. She simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then she speaks.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
It's my turn to hesitate now. I didn't really expect such a straightforward question. And to get to the heart of the matter, I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. Or is it really that bad that an outsider can see our marital troubles? Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? We've put up the act of a perfect couple for years, although it hasn't always been an act. Marianne is just more keen than the average person, of course. It's a necessity to her career, and she has been working closely with us. Yes, that's it.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle.
Meddle! Tell her to get a divorce!
But, if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
That's good advice.
So you're saying they should divorce?
Or get separated, and just depending on how the separation works out, either decide to get back together or go through with a divorce.
Nothing as drastic as that. If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives. But it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships, so grain of salt and all that.
She trails off, having said her piece, and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There's a calm despite the nature of what was just discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice is a lie. And to say that this might just be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where our relationship can bring us. And at the same time, 7 years? Well, it hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements will turn into an all-out resentment. The idea that we'll grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. We can get through this, right? I know that I still love him. I feel that there is still part of him that loves me in return. We just need to get our heads together and talk it out. Go to couples counseling! Surely he will see some sense. There's a cough before Marianne clears her throat. I must have been quiet for so long. I move to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down or not.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay in chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies.
Marianne, get out of here before the ghost gets to you.
Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
The scene outside the parlor is a great organized mess. Aside from our own household help, we hired a service of the temp agency which provides the staff for the right enterprise in the hospitality sector. Even our skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters and busboys and hostesses and their staff captains move about in droves, carrying crockery and serveware good for several dozen people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail in after Johannes, looking like scared little children as he escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar. To select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails. Snails are for the dishes.
A string quartet readies up to play for the evening, tuning their instruments as they fill the air with idle chatter. Floral decor worth thousands fills the vases, wreaths, and baskets, while petals are scattered along the driveway up front. Oh, that looks awesome! An ice sculpture of a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake, just 5-tier white chiffon with 1 white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. I want that cake! Give me the cake! I'ma take the cake! Maybe if you offer the ghost the cake, the ghost won't kill you. But despite the fact that I told Marianne how I will attend to all of this, I find myself unable to focus or care for any of it. I still have our discussion running in my mind. Looking at all of this, I only see Luke everywhere. These are the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering with only a few invited, namely the people I would actually trust to enter my home. I did not want any bloody politicians or paparazzi in here, no matter how used I am to catering to them.
At least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
He's off getting drunk. The entire thing screamed Luke Wright, and I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays, isn't it? What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? I used to be my own woman, who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly that I still am today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talent. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me because my father owned the company. I had insisted that I start at the bottom, so I could work my way up to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, monies, and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. There was a calculation of financial risk, cost reduction opportunities, auditor liaison and public relations, supervision of staff, and, well, I generally had a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth to craving my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone that would give it, however fleeting it all was. And Luke, oh Luke, the way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took a genuine interest. He had me disgustingly obsessed since day one, hasn't he? He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, with both my faults and achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress or some prize to be won. I remember the nights, before we were married, where we talked about everything and anything. From big things like business, society, philosophy, to little things that we had for breakfast or whether we liked cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? They told me that husbands prefer wives who are docile and subordinate. A woman who's always there for him, yet would never outshine him in all aspects except beauty. A wife who needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children, and to take care of them in his absence. They all said I had no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society, but I listened. Before I can fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my attention.
The guests have arrived, madam.
And Luke?
Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
Fuck him. Fuck him.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him.
He's gonna show up drunk.
Open the doors, then. We mustn't tarry.
Cars line up in the driveway, peppering the front of the mansion with vehicles of every kind. Grand Tours, supercars, even the odd high-end muscle car or two, convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen being parked by the valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it was too troublesome to bring their own cars. And there were at least 2 different media vans as well. They're all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxborn. So far. Who knows what we'll plan for the winter holidays?
Welcome everyone. Please, make yourselves at home.
The ghost is gonna have a field day. Some of the guests idle, enjoying the warm, if not strange, sunshine we are experiencing before the gloomy skies take an inevitable turn. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power, the ties that bind these individuals, whether through conversation or necessity. However, there are also a few who are not here to further cement their current place in the high society, such as that young man with the... sorry. Ignorant of the looks he receives from women and men alike.
Be careful with Shirley, all right?
Who's Shirley? Or that rose-haired woman talking on her phone while she looks unsure of why she is here exactly.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
I see Zachary, the photographer, as well. Hi, Zach. He talks to a few other media crew with an air of familiarity.
I was just here a few days ago, yeah. Yeah, and the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
And then there are people like the chief inspector. People who I can never be too sure about. People who stand on the border between suspicious and being trustworthy.
Thank you for the invite, Anna. Husband still missing, I see.
Oh my god, he wants to cheat on his pregnant wife so badly.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again?
She told me she'll just be in the gardens. Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies.
If I don't see her soon, I'm going to suspect that she's dead and you killed her.
It's no offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
Offense taken.
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Yes, well, what about Luke?
He's getting drunk.
Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
Why don't we just cross our fingers and hope he stays missing?
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal. You've hidden his body.
Couldn't blame her.
I was wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too. It's a plate that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches. Looks like it's too late for that.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Just tell him to get the fuck out of your house.
Oh, relax. I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead.
I want Luke dead.
The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough. I could use a glass of wine or 3, actually.
Go drink yourself into a coma, buddy. Wine cellar's down there. If you hear a ghost sobbing in there, don't worry. She'll be real nice before she chokes you to death.
Rochelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out.
I wish she had better aim.
Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
I blame you.
I wouldn't know, would I?
Still no plans for a baby? Well, I guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
What the fuck? Have I mentioned how I don't trust him no matter how hard I try to do so? You shouldn't trust him, period. At least he brought a gift, I suppose.
Why don't you just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each of them. At first, as the first hour passes by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the porter instead. I have other duties to attend to now. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back real quick. Sorry. The bees are back. Freaking bees. I need to freaking get that bee spray. Oh. It's fine. It's fine. I have a fly swatter in the meantime. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure your guests are well fed and have good company, have them generally enjoy themselves. So when my opening remarks are done and when the band has started to play, the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly as I am pulled aside. For a while, I stand with a small group and entertain myself before excusing myself. When they're not watching me anymore, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter and he wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more than to make music. One of the local hotel managers worries about stolen belongings of one of his patrons, a failing in security that should be brought up to a higher authority soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. Then there is that rose-haired woman once again. It's hard not to notice her, with her distinctive locks. She also has the grace that other ladies have, although that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and air she exudes instead are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many of the men here have already given her their attention, although each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach intrigue, although it is no great mystery that what occupies her own attention with glances that she keeps sending toward the boy with the hair. She remains unaware, though, even as I stand behind her, pretending that I am there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Hannah, that wasn't very nice.
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by, and it's a wonder he doesn't hear what I say.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend, then? Because that would explain those rejections.
In all my life, I have never seen a face grow red so fast. The shade of her hair did not help as well. This is the most pink I've seen on a person, really.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
It's more the latter, currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property.
Yeah, that's the ghost job.
I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
I waver as I feel the burning of someone's stares. It's chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Oh, great. Hey, babe. How you doing? You're having a day. My attention is pulled from the girl, and I see the woman staring. Her dark-haired and dirty, she looks more like a beggar than a guest, and I have half the mind to call security on her when her mouth breaks into a grin. All I hear is her laughing. Taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me with like I'm nothing but a pig to the slaughter for her amusement. It makes my head shake, and I nearly drop my drink. Throw your drink in the ghost's face! Throw your drink in the ghost's face right now! I want to see how it goes. But then, in a blink, she's gone, and the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but are you all right?
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light. Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
The name is familiar, like a fond memory. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. She'd even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, though I honestly hadn't been too keen about, although I ate them nonetheless because she brought them for me.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me. little Becky. We met once before.
Yes, oh, I remember you. You were the cutest little thing with glasses. And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A.
You've been pining after Ash for this long?
What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
The more I list off names, the more red and the more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable and her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I have triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely I hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
What?
You don't really need to announce it to everyone with an earshot, you know?
Okay,
Keep it down.
Okay, good. Game's back on. Okay. It X'd out real quick. I don't know why it did that.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
And a tad bit sad.
This is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales.
We are in a very extravagant ballroom right now.
And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it.
Just ask him on a date. It's been years. It's been literal years.
But what do I know?
There's a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually.
Oh my god.
But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense.
17 years dense?
I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Take the initiative and ask him out yourself. He's too oblivious to do it on his own.
Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans. It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
Aw, that's cute. I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow summer dress or that pink blouse and petticoat? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering all of that years later, talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls as if that's some gospel every woman should know. It's so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Though, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at the time, enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moment as I mull over what she said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There is no time to ponder over that, however, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. The music of strings and chatter slows to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer open, and the last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago, and anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. So this can only be one person, or rather, one man. There's only one man who is audacious enough to arrive at his own party so late.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party?
Oh my god.
I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
You are. Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to its presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did it so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks. Now, how they listen, enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hands here, and a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that that if not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side and make my way to Luke's.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness.
And he's got a drink in hand.
So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses, as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
There is a round of applause and cheers and even some hoots. Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It is because of this that I do not see her. I do not see her until she is dangerously close, with fury in her eyes, and she's already spitting venom. Who's this? Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. But that does little to deter her rage, and this man has no choice but to let her go lest an unborn child is hurt. And although it might be too late for that, I also see the emptied glass of... Although it might already be too late for that, as I already see an emptied glass of wine in her hand. Oh god, the pregnant woman was drinking? How much has she how inhibited is she?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here!
Okay.
You bloody bastard, standing there with your smarmy smile!
Okay. She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out amongst the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol on her breath. Oh great, drunk pregnant woman. Great, 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 great. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet, but I am absolutely pissed by the fact that she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. There's a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle.
Oh, God.
Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir.
Oh, he is that baby's father. He had an affair and got Rochelle pregnant. I am calling it now.
What is even going on?
I think I know what's going on. I am just about to ask that exact same thing.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee, collect your wife right now.
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass!
Oh, he 100% got her pregnant.
You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens.
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad. Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility.
I called it.
God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
Yep. What? What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with?
He had an affair.
Luke, is this true?
Yeah.
Lies and slander, woman!
I believe her.
Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby?
She super wants a baby. Like, really, really badly. And he's just not giving it to her, but he gave one to you.
Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
It is now that Johannes returns with security along with a concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man.
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol.
Take her to a hospital!
Talking nonsense, that's all it is.
Nope, I'm pretty sure it's true.
You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
I think she was thinking that she was gonna leave you and that you're not the father of that baby.
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
There is a lot to see here. Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Nope, your husband totally cheated on you. Yes, that's right. There's no way that what Rochelle says is true. What she says doesn't match up. I know Luke. Oh my fucking god. If such a scandalous meetings are to be arranged, he won't do it in an exposed place, especially not near his precious flowers. Oh my god. Okay, so her reasoning for why he didn't cheat on her isn't that cheating on her isn't something he would do, but rather, if he was cheating on her, he'd be more discreet about it and wouldn't be so easily caught. He's cheated on her before and she's known about it. Oh my god. And he definitely won't promise responsibility over a child unless it can be helped. Besides, Luke will never, he will never go as far to sleep with another woman, right? Oh my god, he already did. Okay, fine, who am I kidding? If I'm to be completely honest with myself, he might cheat. He already did. With a bit of temptation and a bit of alcohol, he just might. And doesn't that just make my blood boil? To think that even the slightest possibility of infidelity. Lee isn't too far off when he told me how Luke still acted like some young hotshot bachelor. It's starting to make me think. Perhaps a break is needed, or I need to work for my happy ending. A break is needed. You need to freaking divorce him. Maybe Marianne had a point. If I am this frustrated, if I am unhappy, maybe a break is needed. Some time apart might just be what the doctor ordered. Time apart to clear our heads and think for ourselves. Or for myself, to be exact. Because looking at this mess before me just brings me nothing but distress. I feel a bit nauseous, actually, now that I think about it. Luke's too busy making a scene for me to notice. A concerned Becky pulls me to the side. She looks disturbed as I am by the sudden turn of events. Probably not a big fan of drama. Definitely not used to it at any rate. Not surprising, as her parents were lovely yet simple people.
Hey, I figured you could use the save. You looked like you weren't doing too hot back there.
She needs to call a divorce lawyer now.
Do we need to call a doctor or something?
Well, for Rochelle, yes.
Oh no, I'll just be needing some fresh air, that's all. Some help getting out of here would be much appreciated.
Sure, that won't be a problem. I wanted to get away from this drama too anyway. Just... Hey, Zachary! Hey, Zach!
At the mention of his name, I can't help but seek him out in the crowd as he makes his way over. They know each other?
Becca, this is a real oh, hey, Miss Wright.
If I am to assign a random number to dictate the odds of having two of my acquaintances know each other, I'd say the odds are 1 out of 1,000. And if this is any other situation, I would have been suspicious. It isn't completely impossible to have two random strangers I've met on separate occasions to know each other in what will be a completely random happenstance. It's just, it's been faked before, to try and dupe me because of who I am and who I'm married to. But right now, coincidence or not, I'm grateful for the help. As long as this doesn't turn out to be a kidnapping anyway. Oh, you got bigger things to worry about than being kidnapped. There's a pissed off ghost.
Hello, Zachary. I told you to call me Hannah. Did I not?
Yeah, you did. So, this is what you called me for. We gonna get Hannah out of here?
I can see that they're friends. Not terribly close ones, but friends nonetheless.
That'd be great.
They make a quick work of getting us through the crowd. The people part because of Zachary's broad build, and even if they want to approach me. If that isn't enough, Becky's pointed glares keep them at bay. We make it out of the ballroom without any incident. Though, judging from the commotion in the other room, the same cannot be said about the unexpected eviction. I really do need the fresh air. I need to be away from all those nosy Parkers. I need to be away from Luke. This is as good a start as any.
Hey, I gotta go back in there. Completely forgot my bag like an airhead, and I'll see if I can tag Ash on the way out. You'll be fine here, right, Hannah?
Not to worry, dearie. I'll just be right here.
You need to get out of this house.
Zach will be with you if you need anything.
Becky balks at the idea of going back to the ballroom. Anyone who hasn't yet would have realized I am gone by now. And those busybodies will be gossiping about how I left the building with two unknowns. Along with what just transpired, stories both inaccurate and made up will spread by the night's end. All that matters is very little in the grand scheme of things, of course. I won't even bother to try and quell them by returning to the fray. That leaves me with...
Zachary?
Yeah, you need something?
I was only going to say how nice it is to see you again.
Oh, okay.
I can see the tension in the line of his shoulders. Odd how awkward he is when this isn't our first meeting. We had met on professional terms, certainly, but I'd like to think I was friendly. Nonetheless, I do not push the issue about the apparent discomfort when we were left alone. Not right away, at any rate. I know the curiosity will get the better of me soon. Before I can say anything, however, he speaks up.
You okay there, Hannah?
No.
I mean, of course you're not okay after what happened in there. I mean, that was terrible. But you're not gonna just fall down and faint or anything, right?
I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. I should be asking you the same thing. I remember you being a lot more eloquent.
Oh, yeah. I'm just not too good with staying too long in a crowded room.
Zachary has 100% seen the ghost.
Or handling intense drama, you know?
Yeah, that was wild. There was a drunk pregnant woman.
Sorry about my clothes. Didn't think there'd be a dress code. Not that I have anything that nice to wear to a shindig like this. I dig nice, small, simple parties, so this is a real doozy for me.
And do you host your own nice, small, and simple parties often?
Only when there's occasion, birthdays and stuff. Those are a lot more fun for me, and I can be a lot more selective about letting only the people I'm cool with attend, right? I get to pick the food, too. Of course, I make most of them myself. There's usually a dozen people or less, and all we really do is just hang out. Maybe do some grilling, karaoke, dancing, you know, the usual.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. You sure you're all right? You aren't exactly being eloquent yourself, as you put it. You must have something you want to get off your chest.
I don't know, Zachary. What am I supposed to say?
That you're leaving your husband?
You can scream married if you want. I won't snitch.
You want to know what I think? How I feel? I think my friend may have slept with my husband. At least, I'm pretty sure she isn't pregnant with his baby, which isn't much now, is it? My husband is a selfish, pretentious, bloody sack of shite, and ugh!
Yep, he is.
You know what? I don't give a flying fuck anymore! My God!
Well, that ain't good. Not giving a crap won't make the problem go away.
Calling a divorce lawyer will.
I'm going to ask him for a break, Zachary. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't a problem, but I just need to step back.
Fair enough. As long as you don't just up and disappear on him, I suppose.
He will get the divorce paperwork in the mail.
Yes. Now can we please stop talking about him? Tell me more about your small, simple parties. Karaoke and dancing. How does that even go together?
Simple, really. We hope Ash doesn't take the mic, put on a bit of fun music, and just dance. Not that I can't, but there ain't nothing complex about it.
You can't be that bad.
I'm pretty good with the twist. Or that's what they tell me, at least. I think they're just being nice. I'm sure it just looks awkward.
Prove it. Dance right now.
I've learned that men tend to exaggerate. You can't honestly be that bad, can you?
What? Do you need a demonstration?
That would be preferable, yes.
It's not like there's music here, Hannah. Come on.
Hannah can sing a song.
I can barely dance with music, and I don't want to be dancing alone. I'll just look silly.
Imagine, mon ami. You are an artiste, are you not? With your photos and films and your guitar. You must know notes to play an instrument. Find a melody and a beat. Would it be such a stretch of the imagination? And don't fret, I will gladly be your partner.
I can tell by his expression that he's flushed, embarrassed. But no more protests escape him, and he focuses with a slight tilt of his head. Then he starts to hum a little tune. I drag him into the gardens while we go through the motions, and he gains the courage as we get farther away from other people. And we just dance. Though he stumbles a bit at first, unsure and bashful.
Where did you even learn to dance, Zach? The 60s want their moves back, honestly.
College of two left feet, obviously. And I'll have you know the twist is still an awesome dance.
We're happy and having fun. Even if Zachary fumbles with his steps and did the funniest, oddest movements that anyone can pass off as dancing. Do the jitterbug! In the Wizard of Oz movie, they had an entire dance sequence where a bunch of insects came up and started compelling everyone to dance the jitterbug. But it was cut from the final movie, and it's very hard to get footage of it now. And the footage that there isn't very good quality. And that makes me sad. There's no need to impress anyone, however, not even each other. And this is the most I've smiled and laughed in a long time. It is simple. Simple is nice. Okay, time to call the divorce lawyer. I wish the same can be said about what I'm about to do. Simple isn't the adjective I will use to describe the task at hand. Because really, how does one tell their husband that they want to separate, say that no, this is not a divorce, not yet at least? The possibility is there, but still, how am I even to explain that to Luke without him throwing a fit? Cutting too deeply into my sausages, I open my mouth to excuse myself. That is, until I spy Luke mashing and stirring his poached egg with a fork like a petulant child. He has been silent, and all the while his chin, his hand, and elbow resting on the table. I worry about my absence after the debacle might have caused more harm than good.
Luke?
Oh, the achievement is called It's Not You, Okay, It's You.
I think we need a bit of a break. You know, some time apart.
At my words, he grows still and silent. I'm not quite sure whether I should be worried or not. I take it as my cue to keep talking.
It's not permanent or anything like that. Just for a while. In a few days, perhaps. I was thinking I can move back into our penthouse in the meantime, but I won't be moving out right away, so that I can help settle everything here. And I haven't even thought of packing yet. And I'll want to ask Johans to assign some of our staff. Unless you want the penthouse anyway. Then I'll stay here instead.
No, you take the penthouse. It'll be easier for you.
Okay, he's taking this disturbingly well. It isn't supposed to be easy, is it? Can he really react so aloof to it?
Isn't this to your liking? I imagine that you'd like the space and independence. You'll have the bed and covers to yourself, and you can have whatever you want prepared for meals. You can even have all the wine you want, though I'd rather that you don't.
This is less like a wife telling her husband she wants to separate, and more like a mother telling her son that she and his father are getting a divorce, but it's gonna be okay because he'll get 2 Christmases.
This isn't about that, Hannah. Well, it's partly that, but...
The man stops playing with his food, instead choosing to push the plate aside.
What's wrong, Luke?
He slumps back in his chair and stops short of putting his feet on the table. I suspect that he's wanting some wine or absinthe by now, but any sort of alcohol is suspiciously absent from his hands.
Aside from that disaster yesterday and you telling me you want a divorce, everything is peachy keen. Will you want me to start on the letters then? To start the divorce settlements and whatnot? Will you be seeking ways to throw me out onto the street without a penny to my name?
You need to calm down.
No, Luke, this isn't a divorce. I just told you this is only temporary. Are you really having a sulk because of what she said yesterday?
I am having a sulk because you believe her.
I believe her.
You stormed out and now you're asking for us to split up?
I believe her so much.
Soon enough, you'll want to throw me out like I'm a piece of trash.
You are a piece of trash.
Do you think I would be this calm if I believed her, Lucille Mitchell Wright? Because believe me, if I did, well, it wouldn't be pretty. Besides, I know how you feel about children. It makes her whole statement laughable.
Sure, whatever you say.
His mouth draws into a thin line, and I can't bring myself to comment on his half-hearted reply. To me, the silence that follows is oppressive. It only emphasizes the wall that has been built up by my obstinance and his hubris. And it only looms between us, keeping us apart.
When are you leaving? In a week?
It won't take that long to pack. After All Saints, perhaps? I'll go and inform the staff of this.
He only nods. And I'll be lying if I say that it didn't disappoint me. I expected more resistance. The man could be stubborn as a mule if he wants to be. Perhaps I can leave now, just to spite him. But that isn't like me. Even if this does end in divorce, a thing we both surely wish to avoid, we can still leave on admissible terms. There's no point in making a mountain out of a molehill.
What are you still doing here? Just leave. You still have some packing to do, don't you? Go ahead. I won't stop you.
Go ahead. And do nothing. There isn't much to do, it seems, whenever I step up to the plate and try to take responsibility of something. Perhaps because everything is already being handled by someone hired specifically for that job. And with Johannes overseeing the staff and Luke handling everything else as a whole, that doesn't leave much for me. I can't even take the job of delegation because all it takes is a word to one of the senior staff and everything will be taken care of for me. Moving in here a few days ago may have very well been the chore that took the most effort from me. And that didn't take any real effort at all.
Yes, Hannah, go buy a mansion in the middle of nowhere. Good idea. Great plan.
I told you shouldn't do this! There are no dishes to set aside and busy myself with. Any mess left behind is now nearly non-existent. To sit on the counter while eating cake is supposed to be my next plan. Alas, there isn't even one to finish off, and I don't know what brought me into the kitchens in the first place. Get out of here! There's a ghost in your wine cellar! It's not like I'm craving anything else, nor do I have any unfinished business left here. But there's a calling to this room. Speaking of calling, why not just do that? Might as well, since I have nothing else to do. At least that will require some effort on my part. With how cut off from the rest of the Luxborn mansion is, and with how long it's abandoned before we move in, having a landline is out of the question. The solution supposed to be our mobiles, though it isn't much considering how spotty the signal is in this area. Spotty the signal is in this area. It'll take a bit of maneuvering to even get a single bar as it is. It takes a bit, as I said it would. I have to park my rear on one of the cold drawers, but that suits me just fine. Another matter that needs my effort is who to call. She who must not be named is certainly off the list. That doesn't leave much in the category of close friends who attended the party, along with the category of who else is awake at this early hour. Soon enough I manage and the call goes through.
Hello, Rebecca Gales here. Who's this?
Good morning, Becky.
Hannah? Oh, wait, how did you get my number?
You responded to your RSVP through the phone. It's all saved in here, of course. I thought I'd like to say hi and make plans and get together sometime. Also, I'd love to hear news about your mother and father and about you, my dear. Oh, I hope I didn't wake you up.
Oh, you're good. It's sports day at school today, so I was just prepping for that.
Figures that you'd be a teacher as well. I'm sure your students must absolutely adore you.
Don't know about that.
Mathematics?
History, actually. Anyway, it's real nice to know you've got my number. I was going to ask for yours because Mom wanted to keep in touch.
You could have asked, silly girl. I would have gladly given it to you.
Couldn't, though, because, well, the thing that happened. But really am sorry, though. I gotta run. School, schedule, stuff. Is there anything else you want to say? Don't want to use the mobile while driving?
Oh, of course, of course. I shouldn't keep you. But I wanted to thank you for your company yesterday.
Not a problem.
I was hoping you could thank Zachary on my behalf as well. He was really kind and wonderful.
Well, you can tell him that yourself if you want. I can give you his number.
Oh, no, I don't want to be a bother. Intruding on his privacy.
Pretty sure he'd be fine with it. If you two on a first-name basis and all. So, his number, right, it's...
The call starts to go static, much to my frustration. Oh my god, the ghost is cock-blocking her! A strange clicking noise drowns out most of her words, too. I can barely understand what she's saying. And the line completely dies. I can feel a headache coming along. It's just building up, starting from the light throbbing on one side of my head. The static is gone, and that helps a lot. But there's still that insistent, horrible clicking. Again, and again, and again. Which doesn't make sense. The mobile's turned off, isn't it? And if it isn't coming from the phone, then where? Hana, just get out of this house! Looking about, I can't help but let my eyes be drawn to the hatch leading into the wine cellar once more. That's when the clicking stops, and I hear the sound of crying. That familiar crying from before. What happened the other day when I was told that nobody should have been down there? I tried to forget it because of how much it unsettled me. But one can hardly do that when I'm looking at the very thing I'm trying to forget. Somebody is crying down there again. But if I leave it alone, it simply won't stop bothering me for the rest of the day. Get the fuck out of this house! Pack your bags and leave! They might have forgotten to lock it with the party going on.
This again?
Just leave!
If somebody is pulling my leg, I will not be happy.
Just get out of there! Oh my god! Why would you do this? True enough, all it takes is a bit to open the hatch. As I look down into the cellar, a sense of uneasiness washes over me. Get out of there right now! What are you doing? It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. Yeah, it will! The cries down beneath the shrieks start echoing in my head, high and shrill, like nails being dragged across a chalkboard. They all start screaming and shouting at me. And I can feel her rage. Help me. She wants to drown me, drag me down, and crush me in the very depths of darkness until there's nothing left of me. The deep abyss waits for me, for my death. They're calling for it. This is a nightmare. There's a rope around my neck, and I can feel the rest of me being torn apart. They're still screaming. I'm screaming. But it's not my voice that escapes my lips. It claws, though, climbing up and forcing its way out of my throat like putrid bile. I choke and gag, yet I scream and shriek all at the same time. And I'm me, but I'm not me. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh fuck! Oh no! E! W! Fuck! Oh my god! I was not expecting the QuickTime events like that. Oh my god. It pushes me down on my knees before I'm prone and vulnerable on my stomach. It makes me tumble, and I can feel my whole body seizing, writhing on the floor. Everything and nothing hurts. It feels like I'm on the verge of death. And if I'm not dying, I nearly wish I am.
Hana, what is going on in there?
Ghost tried to kill her.
Why are you?
Prince.
What? Seeing Luke, something snaps back and I'm able to take a gasp of air on my own volition for the first time in what felt like centuries. I would have rejoiced and cried for his name if the pain did not still rack my body. Instead, all I can do is stare listlessly as he comes back to my side and lifts me up, cradling in his arms. He tries to get me on my feet, perhaps to take me out of here. But all he's able to do is get me to sit and make sure I'm not thrashing on the floor. I can still feel my muscles spasm, limbs jerking like puppets on a string. Luke tries to hold me tight and keeps me still so that I do not hurt myself anymore. Whatever it is that happened, it is like it left my mind feeling frayed and battered. Eventually, the pain dies down into a dull ache, and my own tongue stops feeling like cotton. It's only now that I can feel the wetness on my cheeks, tears streaking down my face. A coughing racks my body, and now that I don't feel like I'm choking. And it just feels all so horrible. I think the ghost wasn't trying to kill her. I think the ghost was trying to possess her. But I don't care. I don't care.
Please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Shh, it's all right. You're safe now, Hana. You're safe now.
Okay. Okay. So we just finished up Hana's chapter. Next up is Zach's. And we're gonna have fun with that and try not to get him killed by a ghost next time. But for now, show's over.